Hello. Welcome to Bless End Crochet. Today, I'll show you how to crochet this beanie step by step. Stay until the end and leave a comment if you liked it. For this project I will use these materials. Our number 3 wools. And I will use 4.5mm crochet. And you can use any material you have close to home, and most importantly, to fit your nurse's needs. As the project progresses, I will be giving you indications for all sizes. So stay tuned. And let's start. On this occasion with this first color. Although we can leave this one to him. But I think we're going to go for this clearer one. To start making the elastic, I will start here by this first point. And I'm going to start knitting chain stitches 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, y 11 chain stitches. I'm going to pass the first chain stitch without knitting, and in which it follows. I'm going to start by knitting single stitch. Next chain stitch. Single stitch next. I'm going to wear this strand. To lose it at the same time. Single stitch. And sew a single stitch. For each space until all the stitches are completed. If you are going to knit elastic for less than 2 years, I recommend you to put 9 chain stitches only. Once completed, I'm going to pull the start cord. And we can already cut this strand. Round number 2, 1 chain stitch. I'm going to take this stitch este, which was the last point. I take only half of the chain stitch. And single stitch. Half of the chain stitch. Single stitch, half chain stitch, single stitch. And so I will continue to weave. Half of the chain stitch until the end of this last stitch. In the last point. What is this? Instead of taking it here, I will take it from side to side. And single stitch. A chain stitch, I take half of the chain stitch. I turn and I will knit the beginning by taking it by myself. Half of the chain stitch. Single stitch, y single stitch. And again reaching the last point. What is this one we are going to take in full? That has both parts of the chain stitch. And I make single stitch. A stitch chain. I take half at the beginning, yes, always. At the beginning we will take half of the chain stitch always. But in the end the stitch complete, and this is going to happen. Round after round until obtaining in the length we need. Here we pass, I take the stitch complete. And this is going to be round number 1. This one that can be seen a little further down is round 2. This one that is embossed, round 3. This is round 4, yes, we will be counting them like this. 1, 2, 3, y 4. If I pass here where you can see it a little further down, my round on the other side is going to be a relief round. Because the stitch is 2. Then to each his own. I am going to show you now how the sizes will be, so that you can knit it in any size, yes. While while I return with the measurements and the quantity. Let's go weaving this elastic. And in a little while I'll be back nice and nice. As always, easy. I will show you the different sizes. I'm going to put this because then I make a mistake in saying it. Let's start. 4. I'll see if I can bring it closer. A little more to make it look better, right? For men, let's put 56 centimeters of snow on the head. What would be the perimeter? Oh, 90 rounds. For women we are going to put 53 centimeters of perimeter. Or 84 rounds for teenagers. Let's leave 51 centimeters. Perimeter or 84 rounds. For 5 to 10 years. 48 centimeters, which would be the diameter of the 15-year-old head. We are going to knit it, or 78 rounds. And 2 to 5 years would be 45 years. Centimeters, or 72 rounds. From 1 to 2 years, 43 centimeters or 66 rounds. From 9 to 12 months, 39 centimeters or 60 rounds. And from 3 to 6 months, 37 centimeters or 54 rounds. 1 to 3 months, 34 centimeters or 48 rounds. And for newborns, 32 centimeters or 42 rounds. And the multiple is 6. Once we have the amount we need, let's do the following. I make a chain stitch. I will take half of the chain stitch. Let's put the elastic in half. And I'm going to take the point on one side and slide half of the chain stitch. And I slide half the chain stitch. Stitchy slide. Half of the chain stitch. I slide half of the chain stitch on the other side. I take the stitch. And I will slide 1 to 1. Until all stitches are completed. Nice. Easy. And here is the last stitch in its complete volume. And I slide. And this is how it will stay. Let's go weaving. A chain stitch, and in the same space. Here where the closure is. I'm going to make my first single stitch. I'm going to move on to this space and teju single stitch. Next, here where you can see the relief. Single stitch, yes, here this one you see below. If I pass this way, remember that on the other side it is a relief round. There we knit single stitch. But if you look at each round, that is the relief round. We are going to find a single stitch space. In this round that is below. If you look here, it opens. A space and single stitch. In this one that is embossed. Passo teju single stitch. And in this one below that, if I pass through here. On the other side is the relief round. Teju single stitch. And I will do this until I complete my entire round. So let's assume, for example, that 78 rounds. Then you must have 78 single stitches in total. I will complete the round here at the end. I have already finished. I'm going to do the closure with a slip stitch. And I'm going to start here to knit a chain stitch. A single stitch and a chain stitch. And within this space, I'm going to knit him 1 and 2 high stitches. When I finish the round, I am going to close here where the chain stitch space is. I will pass 1, 2 and number 3. I am going to knit double crochet 2 and 3 we pass 1 2 and in number 3 we weave 1, 2, and 3. We pass 1 2 and in number 3 we knit 1, 2, and 3. And this until the entire round is completed. Once we have already finished this round, I have 1 2 here and I'm going to stop by. I have the single stitch and on the chain stitch, I knit a slip stitch. A chain stitch I'm going to give the round. And here in this space I knit a single stitch, a chain stitch. This is going to be the equivalent of my first point. And here in this space I am going to start weaving 2 high stitches. We spent 3 stitches in here. In the middle I leave 3 high stitches. Remember to leave even. I.e. 28, let's leave him. And remember the other would be 26 for example. But we are going to make them in this first round. Must have us. We have to have pairs, okay? Odd is not going to work for us, so they add 3 more rounds. Multiple of 6. I will continue here. Weaving 3 stitches in each space to complete the entire round here. At the end of the round, I'm going to stop by where I have the stitch chain. Remember there is the single stitch and chain stitch. Here I make a slip stitch. A chain stitch, let's turn. We were weaving like this, let's make the round. And we are going to start in the same space, weaving a stitch under a stitch chain. And in the same space 2 stitches. High I pass 3 in here. In this space I knit 3 high stitches. And this is going to be the same as the previous sequence. Let's continue. We pass 3 and make 3 high stitches until the entire round is completed. Here to end this round. Step where the chain is stitch I close, I make a chain stitch. I turn and start knitting. Single stitch, chain stitch Y. 2 high stitches, let's knit this next round. Here we continue. I pass 3 and I am still here. I am going to complete the round and look. The elastic when double is going to have to cover these. This part. Yes, then for example if you are making for a baby, as your elastic is going to be smaller, then you just use it for example about 2 rounds and you start knitting it. Yes, in case you are weaving for a baby. And it stops from 2 years onwards. Because it can now be. I will complete this round and we will be back. With the colors, prepare them. Once the round is over, I am going to cut. I make a chain stitch. And I'm going to cut in this part. I'm going to leave a little more material, I will lose it later. I'm going to spend time in the same space. I will change the color. And what we can do is to change green and orange, and what if they want this? We leave them in the center. Let's see to see how it fits us with these 2 colors or with these 2 shades. There at home, what do you think? Leave me a comment. Step. I cross the strand upwards. I make a chain stitch. A single stitch. and a chain stitch, and in the same space 2 high stitches. And here in the second stitch void to change color. I close this last stitch with the opposite color. Moves it upwards to tie a knot. And I am going to move on to this next space. And I will knit 1, 2 and number 3. I make the change. Here. Color change. And close. I'm going to remove this one, we no longer need the background. I will continue in the next space. 1, 2 and number 3. I make the color change. Once again step 3. Y tejo 1, 2. And at number 3. I make the color change. And I will do this until I complete the entire round. 1, 2, 3. And we change. Once the round is over, I will close. In the third chain stitch. Con un slip stitch. A chain stitch I will turn. You're on the upside down side. I'm going to leave this thread pending here. Well, I'm going to upload it here, look here. And I make single stitch. A stitch chain. And in this space we weave. 2. I'm going to pass this trace stitch without knitting. And here in the middle I leave 3. 3 high stitches. And this whole round is going to be 3. Step 3 and 3. Complete the entire round. Here at the end, I will go to the single stitch and over the chain stitch. Unslip stitch. Here I am going to make the color change. Place the strand inward. I take the wool. Upward crossing. I make a chain stitch. Let's give him the round. Here it must be adjusted. And here inside this space I am going to knit a single stitch. 1 chain stitch and 2 high stitches. And in the second, I make the color change. Here we weave in the space that follows. 3 high stitches. And again I make the color change. Next space. 3 stitches. Let's make a block of one color. And another block of another color. Happened to me. I close and now it's the turn of the green color. 3 stitch and in the third one I change. It's the turn of the cappuccino color. And this until the entire round is completed. Here at the end, I left in green. I make a chain stitch. Twist here I start knitting. A single stitch, a chain stitch. And I will knit the whole round in green. I move the strand upwards. I can cut this color. And we are going to stay weaving the whole round in green. Next space. 3 high stitches. Complete. Here to finish. I made the closure with the slip stitch. I knit a chain stitch. This one I didn't cut, this one will go up. You can cut it or you can leave it uncut, as you prefer. Let's start here. With a single stitch, a chain stitch, and a double crochet, and inside this space, a double hook. And we are going to change the color. I pass these 3 and we weave. 3. In mustard color. We change to green. And we weave another 3 in the space that follows. And here before closing. Change. And we make 3 more. I'm going to do this until completing all round. And this is how the round will be complete. Once the round is over, what I am going to do is change the color. Move the strand upwards. I make a chain stitch. And I'm going to weave the height of the hat. Here we pass. On the upside down side, a single stitch, a chain stitch. And I start knitting. 2 high stitches, I move on to the next space. I leave 3 and from now on, we are already going to weave only this color. The others you can cut them, okay then. There at home you have already seen it was very easy. Let's cut these 2. And to lose them later. We are only going to keep this light color. And if they look at, well, we are going to lose this, but if you look at the bottom side, we are going to look like this. So I think it looks very good. You at home, if you would like more nice things like this, don't forget to leave a like and his comment. I also invite you to help me share on its social networks. Pinterest for TikTok discovery, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, so I will continue. And on the other side I am going to show you. Yes, that's how it's going to look like now. The drawing of the diamonds I will advance. Everyone at home will leave the length they occupy at home. Parawarta will come back and tell them how much I left behind. And how much they need. Depending on the different sizes. I already have the amount I need. In this case I'm going to leave it with the fold here. Then, let's see how much we have to weave. Width is from counting from here. Because I bent it. Counting from here forward. If you do not want to fold it, well then you can tell from here. But as I want it with the fold, then I will count from here to here. And we will see how much we are going to leave you. For different sizes. Goes for men 14 centimeters and we start to decrease. For women 13.5 and we are starting to decrease. Teenagers 13 centimeters and we begin to decrease. From 5 to 10 years 12 centimeters. And I start to decrease from 2 to 5 years. 11.5 and beginning to decline. From 1 to 2 years 11 centimeters. I am beginning to decrease. From 9 to 12 months 10.5 and start to decrease from 3 to 6 months. 10 centimeters and start decreasing for 1 to 3 months. 5 9.5. And for newborns 9 centimeters and we begin to decrease. Well friends, if you like it, to leave indications for all sizes. Don't forget to leave a like for this video. Your comment and tell me. In what year are you watching it? In which month? What is your name and where in the world do you see me from? And well, I will continue here in this part. I'm going to start here. Weaving a single stitch, a chain stitch, and a point. I'm going to pass these 3 and I'm going to knit 2 high stitches. So and then I'm going to pass 3 and I'm going to go weaving 2 high stitches to complete the entire round. For this next round I have already closed. This is how it turned out. Look, I got another color of material and I said, well, no way. But I hope that at home it will be enough for them. Goes in one tone. There we are going to turn. Make the single stitch. We make a chain stitch and a double crochet. I'm going to stop by and I'm going to knit an on 1, 2. And I close, I pass and knit 1, 2. And close. And I will do this until I complete my entire round. Complete the round. Once my round is over, look at how it turned out. I'm going to stop by where I have the point. Ignoring the chain stitch slide. I make a chain stitch. Let's go to knitter on the grandmother's side. And here's what I'm going to do is pass you by. A single stitch, a chain stitch and an undouble crochet. I am going to move on to this next point. And I'm going to knit a double crochet here. Un and close. I'm going to move on to the next one, I leave 1, 2 and followed by only a double crochet. And I close and here I am decreasing. I will continue 1, 2. Un and in the one that follows only 1, 1. And close. And look, this space is getting smaller and smaller. And it doesn't look so empty. Then I will do the same process all round. 2 unstitches. And in which only 1 follows and I close the complete round. Once my round is over, I'm going to close up here where the dot is. Ignoring this space. And I make a slip stitch, a chain stitch loose. I'm going to leave some and let's cut. And with the help of the dark, let's move on. This is the space that has remained. And I'm going to drink only half of it. De la chain stitch. Next I take half of the chain stitch. Next half of the chain stitch. If you notice I am taking it from below to the center. From the bottom to the center. And so on until completion. All the stitches and we just pull them and they close. Okay, so it's easy to pass. And let's place pom-pom. Or we can leave it like this. In both ways it will look good to you. Very nice, okay. And we can knit it in men's colors. We can knit it in baby colors. There at home you decide. And how about a beanie for this Christmas season? It would look very nice. Right here we throw. And close. Everything is already closed. And here I am going to go through these spaces. Next here we spend the whole championship. We can give 1 or 2 rounds to ensure it. And already on the other hand, Look, here we go down. And on the upside down side, we can pass. And we have already cut. And ready, and look here. I'm going to put the pom-pom on him. Step. And with the help of the crochet, I put a ribbon to remove and put on the other side also. I'm going to show you the pom-pom right now. The pom-pom can be found online. This one has like an elastic band here, look. Can also be removed from a keychain. That can also be done by removing a keychain. And here we already place. And we leave this one as follows. And you can, in this case, remove as many times as you need it. I'm going to lose those little pieces of wool. And I'm going to come back and show you what it looks like on you think. But see this far to this point. How beautiful our beanie looks, you guys at home. What do you think you would have liked to have posted it?